Okay, so this is engaging with error correction, which you have to do also in the forum. So don't forget that any ideas that you have from this, maybe you can put into the forum as well. Okay, so we're going to talk about different types of errors, and we're going to talk about how and when we correct them. And we're going to talk about maybe different error techniques and what we do when we correct our students, etc. Okay, so have a look at this. So here we have a little boy, and he's speaking in his own language. It's his first language is English, and he says, "I willn't do it." So, do you think that his family treat him like you would treat your students learning English? What do you think his family do? How do we learn English? How do we learn Arabic? How do we learn our first language? What happens?
Acquisition, teacher.
Acquisition, exactly. So what else can we say about that? Do your family correct the little children in your family?
Can I talk, teacher?
Yes, go ahead, Fatima.
If the child make a mistake, their parents accept it and avoid this mistake.
Mhm.
And this is to encourage him to speak.
Yes. Or we just ignore it. And when we ignore the mistake, sometimes we think, oh, that's really cute. He said it like that. It's such a, baby language. It's really cute. And you just don't say anything. And in the end, the child learns how to speak correctly. How do they do that? Well, they copy our patterns, right? So they're always listening to us saying the same patterns, and they end up imitating the way we speak. Of course, before they learn to read and write. So they learn from just hearing everything and communicating with us, right? We don't always
Yes,
correct them. Maybe sometimes we do, sometimes we don't, but we know that they will learn it eventually because it's their first language and they want to communicate. Um, we could call this like reformulation. So which we'll talk about a little bit later, where sometimes we could be reformulating, which is what we do with our small children in our homes, but we can do it again in the classroom. So let's see what happens. We're going to look at this first. We're going to talk about like types of errors. So, can you connect the type of error with its definition? The definitions are mixed on the other side. So, can you find its partner? I'll give you some time to read. Don't worry. There's no panic. There's time to do this. And when you're ready, if you want to, if you know the answer to some of them, you can write in the chat if you prefer.
teacher, I have a problem with my device.
Why? What's wrong?
Uh, my device, the computer does not work. I don't know why. Last time you have did it, you have
You have
corrected it
correct.
for me.
Oh, but we can hear you. You're using your phone as well, aren't you?
Yes.
Can you see everything on your phone?
Not everything because the screen is broken.
Ah, okay, that's a pity. And you have internet on your computer, I guess.
Yes, yes, teacher.
Do you want
But
to,
there is something mistake happened with my computer. I don't know why. Last time you have corrected it for me.
who corrected it for you?
You have corrected it. يعني you accept me.
Try if you want, you can go out on your computer and come back in again, and let's see if it's to do with that. Do you want to leave and come back in again on
Yes,
the
teacher. Okay.
computer? Try and see if that'll help you. Okay.
Okay,
Anybody
teacher.
else want to look and see how you can connect? So a slip, what could a slip be?
With G, an error caused by clearness, threadness, a mistake native speakers can make post systematic error.
Correct, Zanan. Good. That's good. And what about the next one? A mistake, which is a bit strange because we think the mistakes are errors anyway. So what is a mistake?
Would be, maybe.
No,
And no.
It is a usual
It is
thing
a
that
long-lasting
happens.
error.
it's a,
Usual
A
thing.
long-lasting error.
it is, no, a mistake is an error which a native speaker would not usually
mistake.
produce. Okay, so no, one is D, or two is D.
They never produce.
Yes, would not usually produce. So it's because of the systematic idea that they make a mistake with the way the language is presented that a native would not make a mistake with.
This is as a second language learners, right?
Yes,
Because they said that it is this mistake is an error that hasn't been corrected.
it is a mistake made by somebody whose first language it's not their first language. So they could be thinking about the linguistic aspect, but they haven't considered something, and that's why they made the mistake. It could be because it's like an exception, like a special rule. It could be to do with irregulars. They didn't know something because they just didn't know, and it's systematic. Whereas a native would not see that. They wouldn't think about the rules. Okay, number 3.
Evidence of learning, I think it's with the E,
Yes.
an error which shows a learner is learning.
Yes, so they know about the regular past, but maybe they're not very familiar with the irregular. Okay, 4.
Fossilization. An error which a native speaker would not usually produce.
No,
I think with A, an error which shows you
4 is B, an error that has never been corrected or which the student cannot correct because of overuse. So they keep
okay.
making the same mistake. That's why it becomes like a fossilized mistake, because it's in their brain that this is the answer because they haven't been told early enough that it's not.
Hmm.
Don't forget, it says fossilization and mislearning. So they weren't taught correctly or they weren't learning it correctly.
Is
Okay.
it a kind of mistake, teacher, fossilization?
Yes, it's a kind of mistake as well. Yes. Okay,
Yes.
look at 5. Hayas put 5A. Do you think it's 5A? She is correct. Yes, it's 5A. Evidence of a student's level. So sometimes you hear something that a student says and you know, oh, that's very typical because this person is in pre-intermediate level, for example. Okay, look at 6.
Yes, evidence of avoidance. With G?
with F.
F with F, yes.
Yeah, mistakes.
And 7 is with C.
Yeah.
So interference is when your own language is interfering with the language you're learning, and you're accepting a rule from your own language and applying it to a different one. Okay, so these are the correct
Miss Andy, evidence of avoidance.
evidence of avoidance.
That means if I want to, yeah.
They just
So
decide not to use it. They don't like to take risks, so they just keep.
not to use it.
Yes, so they may use very simple language. So imagine they have to talk about something with like conditionals, but they decide to avoid using the third conditional because they don't feel comfortable and say something in a different way.
Could we call this as a mistake, as an error?
Not really, because you're not making the mistake because you're not challenging yourself enough.
Oh, you mean like a psychological mistake, not actually a language mistake.
Not so much because it's not really, it's like it's avoiding it. So you're avoiding making that mistake. So you deliberately don't use any phrasal verbs when you're speaking to somebody because you don't feel that you understand them well enough or you don't feel confident enough to use them.
But if
Okay.
I used another language, another verb, for example, instead of using phrasal verbs, so I'm not making a mistake. I am just
No.
avoiding something that I do not
Exactly.
know.
Yes, that you don't know, but you don't feel comfortable enough to use it in case you make mistakes. Have you had
But
students like
this is
that?
good for a learner.
This is not good for a learner because they're just
I
keeping
think
to
it
what
is
they
good
know.
because you are able to avoid a mistake, avoid
Yes, but you're not testing yourself to improve your level. That's the problem. You're
that
just,
depends maybe on the level of my students. If
yes,
no, for example, if conditional type 3, they must be forced to use it.
yes. I mean, what happens normally in most situations with languages is that once a student gets to intermediate level, like a B2 or B1.2, they tend to stop there because they know they have enough language to communicate quite well, and they stop and they don't make an effort to learn anymore because they know they have enough language to communicate quite well with, unless they're forced to
Mhm.
keep learning and they want to do C1 or, so they just decide to stop because they've got enough to survive. I'm okay with that. And they avoid using
If
anything more.
I'm talking to, that depends on the level of the student, right?
Yes, yes, exactly. So it's
It
like when you
depends
have,
on the level of the students. If I know there are must be level 2, for example, level B2.
Mm,
So they must use the vocabulary which is suitable for level B2.
exactly.
I'm going to judge them based on this thing. So
Mhm.
I'm not going to allow them to avoid what they have learned before.
Yes, exactly.
Mhm.
Okay,
Thank you.
right. Let's continue. So we're going to talk about identifying errors. So we're going to see some examples of errors and mistakes, and we're going to decide what to do and when. So let's see, it says, look at the sentences below, categorize them into errors of meaning or form or pronunciation or appropriacy. And then would you correct them? Why not? And how would you correct them? So let's just look at the first one.
How you come to here?
How would you deal with that?
Grammar. Tense.
Form.
Form, yes, correct. It's the form.
How do you come to work?
Yes. How do you come to work? So,
The formation or structure one. Structure.
so it's to do with the formation,
E.
right? It's like the form, exactly, the form of the sentence making a question. Imagine they're doing a pair work activity and you have student A and student B, and they have a list of questions that they had to, with prompts, to ask each other, and the other one has to answer. Would you correct them when you're monitoring, you're going around the classroom and you're monitoring the students? Would you correct this or not?
This is very important to correct it, I think, Fadwa.
Okay.
Teacher.
It's very
can-
important because I am going to build more than one report. So I think it is better to correct it at the beginning when you are dealing with a simple sentence like this, a simple question like this. So it will be he will learn the rule with it.
Exactly, because maybe we didn't give the instructions well enough, or we had to prepare them better before they began doing the pair work, because it could be just a list of questions in the activity, and they'll make more mistakes with the next questions. Where do you live? Where do you live? Or what do you do? And it should be what do you do? So you want to make sure that they include the auxiliary verb. So you could it's difficult to do it, but you could say, okay, everybody put your hands up. And it's to help them to stop what they're doing because they could be in the middle of a conversation. Okay, who can tell me what's wrong with this sentence? How you come to work? What's missing? And then they will tell you. And then, okay, and this question so that they get familiar. Okay, continue. And then they can continue. What do you think, Fatima?
Teacher, I think if we are focusing on fluency, we shouldn't interrupt the
Yes,
student and
yeah,
correct him immediately. We
yes.
can correct him later or when they finish.
Yeah,
This is because, yes, not to stop the flow of the conversation.
yeah. I mean, it could destroy the whole thing of them wanting to continue, or you could just let it pass and then ask them,
Yes,
what's wrong with this question? And then, okay, can you try to do it again and think about this? So they could do it again with the correct version because we don't want that mistake to become fossilized, do we? It could become a
okay.
fossilized
Yes,
mistake.
that's right.
May I
Okay.
say something?
Yes, Fatima, go ahead.
If I corrected the mistakes for the first pair, if I'm talking about pair work or group work, if I corrected it the first time, so I'm going to make sure that is my student, the other groups, the other 4 or 5 groups or other pairs are not going to make the same mistake. So this is we're going to spare me the time of correcting the other teams or correcting the other pairs. So it is very important when your first team is going out or your first pair is going out to talk or to use this grammar. Okay, let's see. What is the mistake? Do not do this one. Do not do this mistake when you are speaking next. So it's going to be like I'm modeling for the first pair, but my other students, I will teach them that is, okay, do not do these mistakes. And I
Yes.
will make sure that the second one, I'll make sure the groups or the other groups are going not to make the same mistake.
Mm-hmm.
So this is important to correct
Yes.
it at the first pair. I'm not going to wait for the whole class. Maybe the bell will ring at this one. So I'm going to lose the chance to correct it directly. Next time, maybe I will slip it and I will forget it.
Yes,
Not
exactly.
going
So
to correct it
we
for.
have to make sure that they act as a model for everybody else and then they can continue. Because if not, you're going to be correcting them continually and stopping all the way through the activity. Right?
Yes.
Okay, look at the next one.
With the word order, teacher.
Mm-hmm. If it's something that you're correcting that's in written form, what would you do?
Sometimes.
Written form?
I think it is appropriacy.
Yes, so it's well, it's not really appropriacy because it's the word order, right?
Formation of the sentence or the word order here.
So it's the formation of the sentence, exactly. So what would you do if it's in written form?
Put
We can
circles and
highlight.
arrows.
Circles?
Teacher, we can highlight the error.
Highlight. Yeah, put like just underline I go sometimes, and they'll say why? Because when I do that, they're like, why did you underline all of these words? And I tell them, okay, then I just do this, and they have to think about
Yes.
it. Yeah,
Cross the fingers, yes.
exactly. And if they're speaking with this, what do you do? The same?
We can use gestures, teacher,
Mm.
or movements or facial expression to
Yeah.
show there is something mistake with the word order.
Yeah, so facial expression, using your hands to do this. I go sometimes. And just the face, and they get the idea. Yeah. Okay.
Simply repeat the sentence. I go with a sound of or a tune that is okay. You are surprised what they have done.
Yeah.
They will sense that they have made a mistake.
Yeah.
And they will try to correct it at the
Yes.
same time.
Exactly. So it's the
Or
more
we can use
realistic, the
the
better.
rising intonation, teacher. We
Yes.
can use rising intonation.
Yes.
I go sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I go sometimes. Yeah, very good. That's very good. Okay, number 3.
Pronunciation, teacher.
Yes. Would you make a little joke with the students about this?
I can read the sentence, but with the correct form. I say, I don't like traveling by ship.
Yes, but you're giving them the answer. But if you want to elicit from them, could you make a little joke with them about this? For example, you could say, "Oh,
They look a sheep and a ship. So there's
yeah,
someone going to travel on a sheep.
Traveling by
Yeah, and
ship.
so they were going to find it as a funny, and they will remember it all the time.
exactly." So you can say, "Oh, I don't like traveling by sheep either. Bear, it's really uncomfortable." And then you
Yes,
can get them to laugh.
make the
So
sound.
it can be really funny for
Yes,
them, you know? And they're thinking, okay, so this
yes.
is sheep. How do we say? And then you can say with your hands. So
Sheep or ship?
sheep, ship, sheep,
Yes,
ship. And see if they can get it, you
yes,
know? So
yes,
we did the
teacher.
pronunciation journey last week, and we did some exercises on that. So you could use it for that if it's a common mistake for them to do. Okay.
Yes.
Pronunciation.
Yes.
He studies. What does he study? We ask a question for the student and focus on the word engineering.
Yeah, good. You can say, what does he study?
Engineering.
And
Yes.
yeah, and see
Mhm.
what does he study? And see if they're thinking about like, they know something's wrong with the word engineering. Okay, then you can do
I see.
whatever you like
Repeat the word correctly.
and think
Yes.
about what you do when you teach word stress, sentence stress. Do you clap your hands? Do you put your hands on the table? Do
Mhm.
you jump? What do you do
Yes.
to get them? Or how many syllables? And then you do this.
We
Imagine
clap, teacher.
and
The third one is stressed.
yeah, so they have to think about where the stress is and how do they say it, and let them think about it themselves, and then practice, and then maybe you can drill if you want to, you know?
Yes.
Okay.
Appropriation.
No.
Also formation here.
Yes, right?
Last night, the
Formation,
present
because
tense.
I'm talking here about a form of the sentence with the present perfect.
Yep. So it's the problem with the tense, so it's the form of the sentence, right? And if they have just done all they need to know about when to use the past simple, what can you do?
They're familiar with last night, for
Yeah,
example,
say
and they haven't
last night,
taken
last
have
night,
play.
and yeah, exactly. Because if you have really drilled it into them about like, you know, time expressions, past simple, you say last night, like, oh, I played, and they have to think about
I
it. But
played.
yeah, you have to
Yes.
think
You have
about
to
it.
start with the familiar things to them.
Yeah, exactly. Or then you can ask them, when can we say I've played football? When? How do you make a sentence with that? So they have to think about it more to make them develop more ideas for this tense and this tense so that they can distinguish. Yeah, but especially if it's something that they should be familiar with because you have just taught it, think about all the cues you have been using with them to distinguish between the tenses. And then they'll, you know, what they can, as like Fadwa said, what they're more familiar with.
Yes.
Okay, number 6.
Appropriacy.
Yes, at last we have appropriacy.
Yeah,
Help me with this.
is it appropriate?
No, it's
Should be
not. Why
polite.
not?
The
I'm sorry?
student should be polite, teacher, with the teacher.
It's politeness, exactly. So,
Descriptive sentence, you know?
can you help me with this, please? Um, I asked the other groups and they told me that in your culture, you use please and thank you all the time, even with family. Is this true?
Yes,
So if
but
you're
in
at,
Arabic, teacher, not in English.
yes, but no, but for cultural reasons. So I live in a country where please and thank you is not necessary if you're eating with family at the table. So you would say in Spanish, pass me the salt. You don't have to say, please pass me the
Please.
salt, or can you pass me the salt, please, mum? They just say, pass me the salt, pass me the bread. So you wouldn't say anything like please and thank you. But in my culture, we would say please and thank you.
Yes,
So-
it's better, teacher.
And
Yes.
I know this because when I first came to this country when I was 17, I was looking after some children. I was an au pair, looking after some children in a family in a house. And one of the children came to my bedroom door and he asked me, my mother wants to know why you always say please and thank you. So I was like, because I have to. I was like, I was in shock. Like, and I,
Politeness, yes.
and I was 17 years old. So I had it really drilled into me that I had to always say please and thank you. And this week I normally give presents, like not well presents, maybe some sweets to my children when they're good. And this week there was this girl who said, only that. And I said, you don't say only that, you say thank you.
Teacher, why don't they say it? Is this يعني from their culture?
It's just a cultural thing. They don't use please and thank you, only with in informal situations. It's like as if they trust each other so much they don't have to say please and thank you.
Serious. They are very serious.
So
Yes.
yeah, they trust each other so much in a family that it's not considered necessary to say please and thank you. So they would obviously in a more serious context, they would. So this could happen to you if you have a Spanish child in your class in the future. If they don't say please and thank you, it's because of their culture.
Their culture, yes.
So what would you do with this? How would you deal with the situation?
I teach him. I say to him, you should say thank you. You should be polite. You should say please if you want something, and so on.
Exactly.
Everything is by teaching, yes.
Or my mother would say to me, what do you say? Or help me with this. And see if they recognize what they have to say. So kind of elicit, they should know. Okay.
You can be a modeling for them. Every time they
Yeah.
give you, they present
Yeah.
something to you, say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
They
Exactly.
will ask you why, and then they will be just imitating you with the time.
Exactly. So they
Might take
learn
time,
it.
but they will imitate you by the end.
Exactly. Good. Okay, let's look at this. We have engaging with error correction, correction techniques. Have a look at these and see which ones you use, which ones you don't use. I'll give you some time to read them first, and then you can talk to us about it, okay? Okay, I have a problem with somebody who can't get in. I'm just going to try to help them. Okay, have you got any ideas about
Repetition. Yes, teacher. Can I say, teacher?
Yes, go ahead.
It seems to me that this is a conversation. Here, the teacher can use repetition if there is a mistake with the students while they are talking. He can reform the sentence and say the sentence again and
Okay.
repeat it and ask the student to repeat it.
Yes. I'm just going to try to.
You mean, how do I use it as personally as a teacher?
Sorry?
You mean this task is how? What do I use in my
Yeah.
classroom?
Which ones
right?
do you use? Can you give us any examples of
Uh-huh.
when you use them?
Correction.
And which ones do you think no? I'm just going to
I think
I'm just going to
Mm,
try.
for me,
Yes.
number
I
one,
always use repetition, teacher,
Okay.
number one, number
and
two,
clarification.
no, clarifications.
Yes.
Okay, number two,
Yes,
little
we
bit
should clarify everything to them.
Okay.
repetition.
Mm-hmm.
Repetition with
Gesture,
a gesture, or as she said, a tune, and you use your voice tone, or
your
okay,
eyebrows.
in order to tell them that there is something wrong here. Yeah, for your facial expressions. Oh,
Yes,
we is having fun, etc.
yes.
Okay, gestures.
Or
And the
or
last
we
one on
can.
the board, I have to use on the board.
Mm,
I have to, if it is a very, very big problem, or it is a repeated thing, I have to do it on board.
yes. Write the
Yes.
sentence, teacher, on the board, and then ask the students, what is the mistake here? How can we correct this mistake?
Yes. Okay. So how can we correct this mistake exactly? So put it on the board. Good.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Also, we can use the teacher if the student make a mistake. We can show him that we are surprised. We may use gestures with our eyebrows. We raise them up. We can move our hands. يعني there are many techniques that we use with the students to correct them immediately or يعني later.
Yes. Do you think you
Excuse
use?
me.
Yes, go ahead.
If I would like to make my highlight about the second one and the third one. I think if we want to differentiate between the second one and the third one, I think the third one is better than, or the second one is better than the third one, because when I use the technique in the second one, I make my students correct his own mistakes on his own, but the third one, I correct it as a teacher, but this is not the purpose of the process of education. I think the second one is better than the third one.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So you think like when I have 12 years old? No, not have. So yes, it's very old-fashioned, right? You're not giving
Yes.
the child a chance to think about what could be what is wrong, and for them to correct themselves, which makes it much better for them. It saves face for them as well if they know what's wrong. And they learn faster. Anybody else? I like the first and second one, yes. And what Fatima was talking about before about repetition, we is having fun, and she said like you can make a question, but your intonation, we is having fun. So she did that with us earlier, and that's a nice one to do. What about the error code? Do you put codes in when you correct their writing, do you put error codes in their work?
Teacher,
Color.
to be honest with you, we correct the word and write it correctly for the students. I know it is better to put the codes, for example, G for grammar, SP for speaking or spelling, T for tense, but the student himself can't correct himself by himself. That's why we write the words correctly on
Well,
his paper.
I have I think that it's a lot of work for you to do it like that.
Yes.
And I think that to save you time and energy and make them think more, what I do is I just underline their mistake, nothing else. So it's less work for you and more work for them to think about their mistake. And I promise you
Yes.
that about 85 or 90% of their work, if you underline it
Yes.
for them, they know what's wrong. You don't have to tell them that it's spelling. You don't have to put any symbols, and you definitely do not have to tell them what the mistake is. They wouldn't, they know it.
Uh,
When they
in
don't
this case,
know, you
Circle the mistake.
just
teacher,
circle or underline, nothing else, nothing else.
in this case, we need to correct again for them.
No, tell them to correct it. And then if they're really stuck, you can say, okay, anybody who still has problems, underline with a different color and give it back to me. And I think you'll probably spend less time, less work than doing it the other way, I think, because they
And
know
how
most
can,
of their mistakes. They know most of their
yeah,
mistakes.
yes, yes. And how can we know that they correct the words? So we should look again at their
Yeah, you can, but
papers.
even
You
if
have
they,
read.
yes, go ahead, Fadwa.
I mean, if you know that my student have this code, if I put it on one line, so it is a grammar mistake.
Mm.
2 lines, it is spelling mistakes.
Mhm.
A circle, that means the whole grammar is wrong.
Yeah.
So what I have to do is I have to ask them, and they know it. That is, you have to rewrite it again with correcting all the mistakes. It will take time, yes, and a lot of effort, yes, but at least you will understand that your student have already learned from their mistakes, and you are not going to help them. You only guided them to find what are the mistakes, and they will be able to correct them by themselves. This is better than giving
Yes.
them the answers all the time.
Do you think it's necessary for them to have everything corrected? It's
No.
whether it's exactly because depending on the level, if they have pre-intermediate level and they're making mistakes for something that should be for a B2 level, then don't correct it. Correct the mistakes that are important for them. Also, another way to save time and energy is, and for accuracy is, don't give them their homework back to them. You have their homework as I would do it, which is to underline the mistakes or circle, but nothing else. Then you make your own list of common mistakes because they're all going to make very similar mistakes, and choose one of them, write it on the board, and write, maybe you could have maybe a 10 maximum. You'd probably find 10 of very, very similar mistakes. It could be with articles, pronouns, third person S, the typical things, right? Don't give them their homework back. Okay, correct this for me, please. And together, they're working together, they're thinking about what's wrong, you help them, you elicit ideas, they all correct. You can get them to correct in the notebooks, put the corrections, or just say, okay, don't write anything down. Just look at the board, understand, correct with me. With a different color, you can put the corrections. Perfect. And the sentences are from their homework. So when you can tell them, okay, this is from your homework. Okay, so then you give the homework back to them, and they want to see if they were the person who made the mistake. Sometimes when they look at their mistake on the board, they recognize it was them. And they're more interested in looking at their mistakes than if you just give it back to them. Oh, what's the mistake? Oh, but they've had their mistake exposed on the board in front of everybody, but nobody knows that it's them. And it's much more, it has a stronger impact on the student. Fatima.
Teacher, you mean that we shouldn't give them back their notebooks?
No, not until after they have corrected all the mistakes.
Yes, yes, teacher,
And then
yes.
they will see their mistake, the ones that they made that could be on the board, and then they can correct much faster.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
May
It's
I say something?
Yes, Dina, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it doesn't work with all students. Some students need to correct their mistakes immediately.
Mhm.
You don't have to wait or give them a chance to check their mistakes. So you have to correct it immediately.
Yes. Well, I'm talking
This
about
is
like
what,
for writing, but for speaking, it's different, of course, But writing they give it to you, you correct it, and they've forgotten about what the mistake was. And then just if you're exposing them to the mistake there, and then give them their writing back to them, they're immediately seeing, oh, yes, that was me, and they will correct it themselves. You see?
Okay, I'm sorry, but I missed that. It's about writing. I think
Yeah.
you're talking about speaking.
No,
I'm
no,
sorry.
it's okay. We're going to talk about that in a minute, about fluency. So let's go back. Anybody have any more ideas for correcting writings? But that tends to be the most effective and the least amount of work for the teacher. Okay, let's go back to here again. And you can do this maybe twice in the year, because that kind of error correction that they're working together and then they see their mistake, it tends to leave an impact and they remember when they're doing the writing the next time. Okay.
Teacher,
Yes.
sorry for this question. Should we correct their homework every day? This will be a waste of time, teacher.
No, like I don't know how much you have to correct writings from them, but I don't do it very much, maybe once or twice a month.
A month, yes.
And then, you give it back to them and they must think about their mistake on the board, for example, if you want to do it like that. Or you give it back to them directly and they try to think about their mistakes, because if they do it on the board once, normally they make the same mistakes the next time and the next time. So say, okay, remember
Yes.
remember the mistakes we saw on the board. Look in your writing. Did you make these mistakes?
Yes, teacher. Yes.
So, okay, so next one is this one. So let's look at some situations in the classroom. Would you correct these mistakes? Why not? And how would you correct them? Let's see. The first one is this. Just read it for a minute.
Yes, teacher. Can I answer?
Yes.
In this case, I correct immediately, because I want him to say the word correctly. If I read the word for 3 or 4 or 5 times and ask him to repeat, but he repeats in a bad way, I avoid the correcting.
Yes. Good, thank you. Anybody else?
Welcome, teacher.
I think here, if you want to teach them a new words, and could be the first time they hear it in the classroom, it's going to be difficult to pronounce it correctly from the first time. And if you
Yes.
want to repeat it all the time, you're going to waste the time of the question. The idea is this: I'm going to do it 2 times, 3 times at maximum. Then I will allow the student to drill it together. Then I will ask them to practice at home. And the second day, I will ask him to pronounce it again for me. And I will tell them to spell it.
Yes.
Copy it and spell it at the classroom, spelling letter by letter, and this is going to help them. Then maybe if I have it, I can put it into syllables. Will be easier for them.
We have to be careful with the spelling, because very often, as you know, in English, when you spell the word, it's not the same as how you pronounce it. But
it's not the same as you pronounce it. Yes,
but you could make you can make its own spelling, where you put the word the way it should sound on the board, and say, try saying it like this. Or another thing is, you could try thinking of other, because if it's to do with
divide it into
to do with
syllables.
if it's a vowel or a consonant sound that's difficult for them to pronounce, you could take the pressure off that word and use a different word with a similar sound to get them to practice with other words with similar sounds. So imagine they have to say the word girl and they can't say girl, and you can say
Girl, yes.
You can say something else, and they can try with a different word and see if they can go back to that word again and try again. Okay.
Teacher, if the word is long, I depend on dividing it into parts or syllables.
Yeah, syllables. Or
I repeat syllables.
Or you could back chain the word, no?
Yeah. I ask them, for example, to read important. They repeat after me each syllable. Then we read the word as a whole.
Yeah. It's be careful with words like that, because they have schwas. So you wouldn't pronounce the A. So you would say tent,
Yes.
important, not important, because they will see the word and at the end. So
Oh,
it's like thinking about how the schwa is a little bit as well. So yeah, but it's just it's complicated, isn't it, really, if you think about it. But you do what you can. You can try back chaining as well. For example, comfortable. So you can say table,
comfortably.
table, comfortable. And then you say, okay, comfortable. Then write the word on the board and say, this is the word. Did I pronounce it like that? No. So to just
Yes.
get them familiar with some words because maybe the people that are doing this are thinking about the way the word is spelt, not how it's pronounced, right?
Oh, the word favorable, my favorable, my favorite, favorite. We
Favorites.
write it in different way,
Yeah,
favorite.
exactly. Favorites or favorites. Yes. Okay, look at the next one.
Then teacher, I write the word on the board and I show them how to write it correctly.
Yeah,
How to
make it
write it
shorter.
and how to pronounce it.
Yeah, make the word
Yes.
how it's pronounced on the board. They can see the difference. Okay, look at B.
Mhm.
For me, I want to correct him
Yeah, very wise.
because I want to correct him because if he's telling it and you are all interested, so this is the point. He has
Exactly.
achieved the goal, and maybe next time, okay, you will talk to him and you will give it to him at the end.
Yes.
But you will praise him and you will applaud him and you will reward him if he has done it by himself. But I'm
Yeah.
not going to correct him. No.
Yeah. You'd say, oh, that was a brilliant story. Thank you so much. Now, who can tell me the story in the past? And you can tell the original person and correct them if they made any mistakes about any part of the story. So, like he's the content giver, and then somebody else in the class can be the tense giver, giving the right tense. So making them feel like their story was important, but somebody else is going to do it now in the past. Okay, next one. Okay, so
I correct immediately,
they're
teacher.
like saying,
Correct it.
yeah, he wake up, he have breakfast.
He
This
wakes
must
up,
be
yes.
corrected directly.
Yeah.
Because
So,
if not, it's going to be
Grammar.
another fossilized mistake.
okay, and everybody is doing a class survey, so they're all walking around the room, ticking boxes and asking questions to each other or whatever. How would you get their attention to say, hey, you're all making mistakes? How would you do that? It's only like one thing, it's the third person S. How could you get them all to understand what to do?
Just I correct teacher without showing him that there is mistake. I correct everything. And when the students see me correcting everything, they imitate me and correct.
Mhm. Or would you put an enormous S on the board? And
Yes,
just
you will
Yes,
put
just
one.
one
For
S.
example, he plays, he works, I play, we play in a bold, in a different attractive colors. So they will understand that they have made a mistake and everybody's going to correct himself.
Yeah.
I may
There's no need
sing for
for
him.
you, or you can just give them a clap like this and you tell them with your hands, just look to the board.
I may
Exactly.
sing teacher for him. I say he plays, he goes, he eats, he
Yeah.
sleeps. With singular we use is. Okay.
Yeah. So it's important for them to remember just putting an S on the board and say, look,
Mhm.
S. What's the S for? And if necessary, if they're really bad, you can put like he, she, whatever, and they can, okay, yes, I've got it. And they can continue. But because they're all doing it and it's just one mistake, I think it's good to stop, right? Okay, next one. Somebody has to mute their mic. Be careful.
Yes, teacher. Can I talk?
Yes, go ahead, Fatima.
I correct immediately, I think, because this is the aim of the class or the aim of the lesson.
Mm-hmm.
It has relationship with the aim. That's why I should correct.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
I think they have to use it because this is a must. You know, this is the outcome of the whole lesson. So if I am not telling them to do it, okay, I will accept if they are using something else. That is good, but I need you to use the grammar or
Exactly.
the one that we have here. Yes. So
It
if
was
it is, yeah, they have used other one. Okay, that's great, but you have to rewrite it or to re-say it again or to say it again with would. How would I do it with would or used to?
Yeah.
So this is the point. He knows that he had made mistakes, that he has done something great in the class. But what is the mistake? That is, okay, you have done a great job, but you did not use the target. Not use the language target we are talking about. But so yeah, I will give him time to repeat it, to write it
Great.
again, and then it will be good for him to learn that.
Exactly.
Yes.
If they're not familiar with using it, maybe it's the first time that they're meant to be using it. They just don't feel confident enough. So maybe it's on the same day they have learned about would and used to, but like to start speaking with it, maybe they feel a bit uncomfortable and they can't produce the language. So if it's a fluency activity, let them finish, but it'll be really easy for them because at that level, if they can use used to and would, they're very familiar with past tenses. So I would say, okay, and now I'd like you to write 2 sentences using used to and would in your notebooks and show it to me or read it to the class so that they know, oh, I forgot to use this. So at least I can try to write it and see if I can. They probably need to physically see the sentence with this expression and then say it. So it goes into their heads better, and maybe it'll help them to feel more confident using it later. Because it depends how this has been taught, if they've had practice speaking with it before or if it's the first time. So like Fad was talking about this, about writing it or speaking with it. So I would say, if necessary, they could be writing with it. Yeah. Or you can say, a bit like the story, okay, somebody else, who can tell me what they used to do when they were small? And it's like, and they're thinking, oh, I forgot to use it. And they might even say, I'll tell you. And they can do it like that. Okay, we'll
Yes.
do one more. Oh no, we'll stop. That's enough. So it's now 8:30 with you, and I'm sure you've got lots of things to do to prepare for tomorrow. So that's fine. I will stop the recording now.